Well, hello everyone. It's Sunday today, 47 degrees. You guys can see by by my nose. It's been sunny out lately. Actually, my nose, if you were to look closely, it's starting to peel. The first sunburn of the year for me. So, anyways, hope you're outside today. Again, getting some fresh air from sunshine. I'm going to, I've got my kayak loaded up into my truck right now. I'm going to go hit a river. The reason I'm doing it, though, is I'm going to paddle up a river to a lake, and I want to see if I can get onto the lake through the river, see if I can do some ice fishing on the lake. If I can do that, there's some amazing crappie and sunfish fishing in it. So that's my plan for the afternoon. Want to welcome everyone, including Callie's mom, Jamie, and her brother, Hudson, who have been following along in the book. Today, the chapter is called Hideki, the Divine Wind. And I do know that the Divine Wind is another word for Kamikaze. And Kamikaze is, if you know anything about World War II and the Japanese, there were kamikaze pilots that chose to drop their bombs on American ships, and then instead of turning around and heading for home, they chose to take their airplanes and fly them directly into the ships, kind of on a suicide mission, hoping that they could blow up not only the airplane, but also the ship that they hit. So, today's chapter is kind of short. But anyways, here we go. Hideki, the Divine Wind. Hideki had never seen so many ships in his entire life. He and the other boys of the Blood and Iron Student Corps stood on a hillside overlooking the ocean. Below them were hundreds, maybe thousands of American ships. Huge ones, too. Bigger than any Japanese ship Hideki had ever seen in Naha Harbor. Hideki made a rectangle shape with his fingers and peered through it. When the Imperial Japanese Army had arrived on Okinawa, they had brought a photographer with them, Lieutenant Tanaka. His job was to take pictures of Okinawa so the generals could formulate their defense. Lieutenant Tanaka had told the school that he needed someone local, an Okinawan, to show him around the area and carry his camera equipment for him. Hideki had been given the job. Lieutenant Tanaka had lots of different cameras, some that used rolls of film and could be carried on a strap around the neck, others that clicked and whirred and took moving pictures. But the photographer's favorite was a beast of a camera that stretched out like an accordion, and it stood on a tripod. Because it was so big and heavy and took so long to set up, Lieutenant Tanaka would frame his shots through his fingers first. He showed Hideki how to do it too. "What story does the picture tell?" Lieutenant Tanaka had said to Hideki. "That's what I'm always asking myself. Not just what's happening in the photograph I take, but what happened before it was taken and what will happen afterward. How you frame a photo says everything about the story you're trying to tell." Hideki framed a shot of the battleships at the sea through his fingers. The story it told was not a good one for Okinawa. "We'll never hold out against all those ships," he whispered to himself. "Oh, what's the matter, Hideki? Chicken?" Hideki hadn't thought anyone could hear him, but of course Yoshio had. He punched Hideki in the shoulder hard, making him flinch. "Hideki thinks we're going to lose," Yoshio announced, and all the other boys laughed. "No," Hideki protested, his face hot. "The Yamamoto will be here soon, and it'll smash those American ships," Yoshio said. The Yamamoto was the biggest battleship ever constructed and the pride of the Imperial Japanese Navy. If the Yamamoto did come, the Americans would have a real battle on their hands. But wherever the Yamamoto was, it wasn't here. "Hey, I just realized," Yoshio said, Hideki's never been through the gauntlet of fists. Uh-oh, that doesn't sound good. Hideki blanched. No, not here, not now. The gauntlet of fists was a tradition at his middle school, a brutal tradition. The fifth years would line up in 2 rows and send one fourth year running down the lane between them, punching him with their fists as he went. Fourth years who made it through the gauntlet came out bruised and bleeding. Those who didn't were sent to the nurse's station with broken arms and legs. Holy cow. Hideki thought that he had escaped his trip through the gauntlet, but Yoshio had other ideas. He grabbed Hideki by the arm and told the other fifth years to line up. You can't, Hideki cried. We're not in school anymore. There aren't any more fifth years and fourth years. We're all members of the Blood and Iron Student Corps. What does that matter, Yoshio said. We're still bigger and older than you. Hideki closed his eyes and braced for the first punch. Look, another fourth year cried. Kamikazes! Hideki opened his eyes and looked up. A squadron of Japanese planes had emerged from the clouds. Yoshio let go of Hideki, and together all the boys ran to the edge of the cliff to watch. The Japanese kamikazes waited until they were right on top of the American fleet, and then dive-bombed straight for the battleships. Kamikaze meant divine wind in Japanese. Hideki remembered learning about it in school. Hundreds of years ago, the Chinese Emperor Kublai Khan, sent a huge armada of ships to attack the Japanese mainland. There was no way the Japanese could have defeated them, and it looked like China would conquer Japan forever. But then, a vicious typhoon had risen up in the sea of Japan. The storm wrecked most of the ships and scattered the rest, and Kublai Khan was defeated. The Japanese believed their emperor was divine and that heaven had saved them. They called the typhoon the Kamikaze, the divine wind. And they believed even now that Japan could never be conquered, even if they were losing. At the last minute, a divine wind would come along and save them. Just like these kamikazes had saved Hideki here and now. Not quite willing to wait on the heavens to save them, the Imperial Japanese Army had organized a last-ditch divine wind of their own. Today's kamikazes were special attack planes that flew missions from Japanese air bases, never intending to return. They were loaded down with as many bombs and explosives as they could carry, and a kamikaze's pilot's only mission was to crash his plane into an Allied ship in a suicide attack. Hideki's heart swelled at the sight of the planes Hideki's heart swelled at the sight of the planes dropping out of the sky into the withering anti-aircraft fire from the giant American ships. This was true bravery, he thought. To fight in the face of overwhelming odds, not like him, cowering and hiding from Yoshio, hoping for a battle to spare him from a beating. Hideki thought about his cowardly ancestor, Shigetomo. Centuries ago, Shigetomo had surrendered without a fight when Japanese samurai had invaded Okinawa. His family had been spared, but the samurai cut off Shigemo's head, even though he hadn't fought back. Wow. On Okinawa, you lived under the same roof with the spirits of your ancestors. The shadow of that decision, the 350-year-old ghost of that cowardly forefather, had haunted Hideki's family for hundreds of years. It haunted Hideki still. One of the kamikazes twisted through the hail of tracer fire and dove straight into the tail of an American destroyer. It hit with a fierce explosion that boomed across the water, and fire and black smoke poured from the deck of the ship. "Banzai!" Hideki yelled with the other boys, and they danced and pumped their fists in the air. But then Hideki quieted. Deep down, he knew the truth. The kamikaze plane that had hit the destroyer was the only one that had gotten through. Dozens more kamikaze planes were being shot down by American ships long before they ever even got close to the Armada. Again and again, the kamikazes exploded in bright red balls of flame, and the pieces of their planes tumbled harmlessly into the sea. This was a battle the divine wind was not going to win. Soon the other boys quieted down as well. When the fifth years tired of watching the kamikazes, Hideki knew they would turn on him again. Yoshio would turn on him again, send him through the gauntlet of fists. He was sure of it, unless Hideki could think of something else to distract them. Hideki couldn't see the beach where the American transports were landing, but it had to be close. He pulled one of the grenades from his jacket pocket and hefted it with bravado. The army probably has something special planned for the American monsters when they hit the beaches. But let's go kill the ones who get through. Hideki's classmates cheered again, and he sighed with relief as they ran off ahead of him into the forest. Anything was better than facing the gauntlet of fists, even American guns. All right, we're going to stop it there for today. Again, hope everyone's having a great day, and we will be talking to you soon. Remember, Tuesday is the big day, everyone, huh? We're back to school. I know you guys are all excited, huh? Again, I just want to say, if you have anything that you want to share with me, anything you've been doing this weekend, any questions you might have, mom and dads, any questions you guys might have, feel free to shoot me a text, or you can get a hold of me on Remind, Google Classroom, whatever the case might be. But until then, have a great weekend and look for another chapter tomorrow. Take care, everyone. Bye.